Infos. This is Carrie Grain coming at you with a WIP Parade. It's been a busy year. I have not been around, but that's okay. I figure if I just come in once a year maybe and give you an update, that might be okay, right? My name's Carrie Grain. This is my floss tube where I talk about mostly cross stitch. But crafts in general, if that so happens. I have a lot of knitting that I've been doing recently, but I won't delve too deeply into my knitting. But Happy New Year, everybody. I'm going to label this as my 2024 WIP Parade, but technically it's 2025, but end of year 2024. Anyway. Welcome, and I'm just going to get into it. I'm going to start oldest to newest. We're going to start with my two dragons. So that looks like this when it's finished, and last year it will look like this. I'm stitching it on 28 count Irish linen 2/2 with DMC 3345, which is a green. I started it in 2020. In the beginning of the year, it was at 57.05%, and now it is at 80%. Oh my God, look at that. It's so good, and I thought I would hate stitching on that griffin, but I actually really liked it. It's been a while since I've touched this. This was like a February, March type time frame. But yes, I'm enjoying this a lot more than I was when it was just miles and miles of border. But yeah, this project is in total about, when it's finished, it'll be about 30,000 stitches. So, and I don't know if that's true to color, that green. So pretty. So that's my first. Yeah, started it in 2020. That's crazy. Sorry. But that's okay. Just sometimes things just need to take some extra time. There's nothing wrong with that. Next, I'm going to show you. Oh, we have a cat trying to come hang out. I'm going to show you Tenderness by Riolis. There we go. Originally started in 2021. Do not step on my keyboard, cat. You can walk in front of it, but you can't step on it. Okay. Originally started in 2021. This is what it looked like in the beginning of the year. I know, buddy. It's exciting. This was for a friend, well, my dad's ex-fiance. Anyway, the picture looks a lot like her. And she had a baby in 2021. But I don't think I've worked on this. And if I have, it was very little. But look at that little baby. Is that a missing stitch? No. Just looked like a little bit. It's just where it's the light is coming through. That's what it's looking like now. Kit fabric, kit floss, all that good stuff. This one's kind of tough because it's a paper chart. But it's okay. Everything in its time, I suppose. I keep it in its like original box, and it's sometimes hard to put back together. What's next? Next is, let me get that pattern so I can show it to you. Next is Birds and the Bees by Ink Circles. This is one of the first like paper patterns, like fancy. I don't know, when I discovered 1-2-3 Stitch and watched FlossTube for a month, this is what I bought. But I started that one in January of 2022. It's getting old, huh? I'm stitching it on 28 count Monaco 2/2 with DMC 3847. I got tired of going back and forth to Michael, so I just got a bajillion of those. Last time you saw it, it looked like this. And I think it looks exactly the same. Because I did not work on it. Oh, forget this. This was something else. Yeah, this one I don't think I worked on. Almost definitely did not work on, but I still think it's really pretty. My stitching got a little derailed this year, so it's okay. In my last WIP Parade, I said I would finish this, and I said I would finish the dragon one. That's okay. Where'd the bag go? The bag went where I put it. That's so silly of me. What do I have next? I'll show you the tarot cell. I'll show you the tarot cell. Not that. Not this one. Which plastic bag is it? This one. Okay. The next one I have to show you is it has the frame of the tarot cell by Witch's Garden Crafts, maybe. It was a stress start back in 2022. I was in grad school. It was very stressful. The frame came out and I was like, that's dope. I like it. And then the cards came out and I was like, I don't know about this. It was like old school tarot, which is a vibe, but it wasn't the vibe I was feeling. So this is what it looked like. It didn't change. I didn't touch this. I cut off some fabric from it. That's all I did. This is that WIP. So again, it's the frame from Witch's Garden Crafts, and then I found a tarot deck online that was just 3 colors, and I put the image over the grid, and then I make it work. So, but again, it's been a long time since I've touched it, but it's a WIP, so I'll show you guys. But it's just really nice that like everything I need can fit in here. Like I've got my threads, my 3 threads, and my thingy. And the cat in the bottom. What are you doing, buddy? It's getting close to dinner time, so they might be bothering me, but that's okay. After that, we have After that, we have my first full coverage that I started with Kaylee Cross Stitch, I believe. This is Amongst the Tulips by Irina Garmashova, potentially. Here's what it will look like. I have 2 black cats, so it's perfect. Here's what it looked like last year. Whoop. And here is what it looks like now. So I don't know if it's changed a lot. I think I have stitched on it some. Hey buddy, what are you doing? What are you doing? I have stitched on it some, but I think it was only a few hundred stitches. I think I finished whatever diagonal I was doing and I started another one. You can see this will be a cat eye, this will be the tip of a flower, but I just love how this is coming together. And I've been watching FlossTube again, and it is making me so inspired to work on my full coverages. Not that I have yet in many months, but other things are coming first, and that's all good. My other full coverage is Kakomu, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs, artwork by Margret Morales. I was going to say Megan, but I was like, it's not Megan. I love her artwork. And here's what it will look like when it's finished. And this one is still in the frame. And I'm not going to show you what it looked like last year because I know I did not work on it. Ooh, which is a shame. Because, again, the full coverages are just so beautiful and addicting. So this is, oh, I didn't give you any stats for Amongst the Tulips. Pause. Last year, Amongst the Tulips was at 13.5%, and it's at 16% now. And again, Kakomu hasn't changed. This is almost 10,000 stitches here. And I love working on it. My plan is to do, I think this is like 2 pages or something like that. So my plan is just to do 2 pages at a time all the way across. But she's gonna be cute. She's gonna be adorbs. I showed it to one of my lady in my old stitchy group. I haven't been going because my work schedule has changed, but she was like, the lady looks pretty sad in this. I was like, well, yeah, I guess so. Oh, I guess I don't have mermaids with me. I guess the only other cross-stitch WIP I have to show you is a new start. You guys have not seen this yet. You have not seen it yet, but this is Ophelia by Mirabilia. I think she's adorable. And in my last FlossTube video, I was talking about how I really wanted to start her, but I was not sure about the 2/2 on a 28 count. I ended up just doing the 28 count. But the next time I do one, I'll probably go back to I'll probably make a Mirabilia in 1/1 because it's just so much better. Not that it's so much better, it's easier, and something in me just likes saving thread and fabric. I'm like, hoo. I have this length that I can use now. Ho. Excuse my like coughing and stuff. I got sick. My annual Christmas cold. At least it wasn't Christmas COVID this year. And it's just sticking around. But this is Ophelia. I had to give her a little bit of an iron because she was all types of wrinkled up. I'm using a Nerge to stitch her, so she's all like wrapped up all around the edges. But this is her. She's so big. She's beautiful. So I started her. When did I start her? Oh wow, in March. In March. That must have been when I finished. I put down the dragons. And then I started her. And I was hoping to have her done by the end of the year. That did not happen. That's okay. Once I finished the one page, because it's just 2 pages, just really big pages. Once I finished the one page, it kind of became like there was a mental block to starting the second page, because it was just that straight line and it was intimidating. But we're working on it. The way I've come to stitch this is I try and do the light colors to dark, but starting from the lightest is hard, so I'll do like this like light yellow, and then I'll do the lightest colors, and then I go to the darkest colors in just the dress, and then I'd come in to do like the roses and stuff. But last night I got in a mood and I was like, I'm just gonna go by, I'm gonna color complete in order, in color order. And I can't totally do that because, you know, a lot of space over here and her hair up here. I'm not missing too much past this. Or there's like a petal that's like here, and I'm not counting to that yet. But that's why it's all over the place, essentially. It is just a wild hair to color complete in number order, which the DMC numbers don't mean anything except for identification purposes. So I put the needles on this on my ironing board. I have to remember that I did that. But now it's just like a lot of talking. Not a lot of talking. Now it's just a little bit of talking. So I'm gonna get my knitting out. But essentially what happened is I was going strong on Ophelia until about halfway through the year. And then I caught a sewing kick. You can see this is one of my works in progress that hasn't seen daylight since July. She's just been hanging out there. But I had a birthday party. My birthday's in June. And I tried to do, I'm gonna keep talking to you, it's fine. I tried to do a fantasy theme, and I dressed up like a fairy, and I made like my little outfit. And then I just kept going with the sewing. And then I went to Chincoteague with my friend Lynn. And we were just kind of like there for the weekend for no particular reason. Just hanging out, having a good time. And there was like a local yarn shop there. So we went. It was just some lady's house that she like set up the garage, like finished it really nice and set it up as a yarn store. Oh my goodness. But we also, I found this pattern and this yarn, and I had to do it. So I made this shawl. Oh shoot, what was it called? Do I have any of this written down here? A Smattering of Lace. The pattern is called A Smattering of Lace by Caroline Hershey. And the yarn brand is Chincoteague Colors Cove Collection. It's a merino superwash fingering weight. And I think she's just stunning. I wear her to work when it's just like a little cold, you know, just like wrap up a little bit. But it's this really pretty purple green, and it was just so fun to make. And it took way longer than I thought it would. but I was just kind of watching the yarn ball get smaller and smaller, and I was like, I need to keep doing this. And then not long after that, I was still working on the shawl when me and Josh went to Maine for our like week of vacation, and I had to get yarn there too. And I got, ooh, what did I get? Barocco Tilly. I don't remember what this color is called, but I knit this. There's a bobby pin in it. It is, I don't know what my thought process was. I guess I wanted to fit loosely, but I made it too wide. I need to honestly seam this. But this is my little melee tank, M-E-L-L-E. And it has this cabling texture. I hope you could see that. Cabling texture. It was cute, and something about vacation yarn, I was just like, I was like, I have to use this right away. And so started my increased interest in knitting and decreased interest in cross stitch. Not to say that I didn't cross stitch, because I did work on Ophelia pretty consistently, just 7 days in a month instead of 25 days in a month, you know what I mean? Except for November and December, during which I was doing a ridiculous amount of gift knitting. Gosh, we're trying to save money, so I was like, if I make a bunch of presents, then I won't have to buy a bunch of presents. And it was funny, I went through my yarn stash because even though I hadn't like been super into knitting, people knew that I did, and sometimes I'd come in with something, but but I've just been receiving yarn at different times over the years, and you buy some too. So I dumped my entire yarn stash out on the floor, and I'll post a picture of it because it was crazy. And I went through it all, and I decided what I was going to keep and what I was going to donate, and I bagged up the donating yarn into different colors. So that's when I go to the yarn store to like to the thrift store and I buy yarn, it always is like pre-bagged. And I figured a color coordinated bag would be better than a uncolor coordinated bag. And so I had everything lined up in the hallway ready to, go to the thrift store. I was waiting for Josh to clean out his room, see if he needed to donate anything. So it ended up sitting there a while. Long enough for me to start gift knitting and taking all of that yarn back out from that donate pile and start using it again. I used a lot actually of that old yarn, which is dope. I'm glad it got used. I didn't really care if I used it or somebody else, but it worked out for gifts because I made so many gifts. And my stepdad gave us this bookshelf, and it turned out to be perfect for my yarn. So yeah, I've been more multi-craftual than usual, but still stitching out here, because that's what it's about, and it's all good stuff. But plans wise for the coming year, I may have made some my plans might be unreasonable, but don't tell me that. I will find out next year when I rewatch this video to see what happened, and do the same thing I did this year, which was, damn girl, those are really never gonna happen. Which those could have happened if I didn't get the knitting bug so bad. But that's okay. There's nothing wrong. The goals that I set are only meant to like motivate me and make it fun. And my favorite, maybe not my favorite part of stitching, but one of the things that keeps me stitching is like watching it get bigger and bigger. I just get so excited. I'm like, oh my god, look, there's I don't know, an extra ruffle. Do you see the ruffle? It's gorgeous, and it's, you know, it's just 300 stitches of yellow, but it that's what keeps me going. So I have a WIP board, which I printed out right here. I guess I could show it. I guess I could, well, it's already right here. So this is my WIP board. I have the goals of, there's some goals that are on my 2025 goals sheet and some that are like the WIP board will complete. But I want to finish my green dragons. That's 10,000 stitches. That's totally doable. Is it less than 10,000 stitches? It's 80% and there are 30,000 stitches in it. Anyway, I want to finish Ophelia, which I will be able to do. I probably won't do much of anything else until I finish Ophelia. She's just my main figure. I want to get to 30% in amongst the tulips, which I'm at 16% now. If I do 1,000 stitches every month with the option of skipping 2 months, giving myself some leeway here, trying to make it feel like it's gonna happen, I'll get 10,000 stitches in, and that will get me to 30%. I want to get not 6%, to 8% in Kakomu, which is double what I have now, another 10,000 stitches. So already I have 30,000 countable stitches that I want to stitch. And then who knows what Ophelia is. And then I want to start my next Mirabilia and probably my next big gift, and that might be cross stitch, that might be knitting. It's hard to say. But for a number of years I've always had one like huge scale project that would be a gift for a family member. Right now it's Green Dragon sampler. Before it was this watercolor painting I did that was giant. It was like a 2x3 sheet of paper of a, what was the game called? His name was Brent, and he was like a fire guy. Yeah, and I don't know how to paint fire, but I did. But if I keep up with my WIP board, I will also finish Birds and the Bees by Ink Circles, because that's only another page. It takes me about 15 days of effort to do Birds and the Bees. And I want to FFO a couple things. My WIP go's already been called, so I can tell you what has been called. 500 Stitches in Amongst the Tulips. And then to FFO my lighthouse, which is this one from a number of years ago. These marks are me starting the process of of FFOing it. I was measuring distances so I can center it. I don't know. So that's my plan to FFO this month. I want to get a third of a page finished in Ophelia, which is, I mean, who knows what that is. I don't have an exact. It'll just be like whatever I feel like is a third of a page. I have the other WIP go call is, I already said 500 Stitches in Amongst the Tulips. But I also want to finish this cardigan, and I want to start my next knitting project, which will be a Luna top, which I will just talk about later, maybe. I definitely haven't shown you guys everything I've been knitting, but this is cross stitch, a floss tube, so I'll just show you a few things. But the pattern I'm knitting right now, the cardigan pattern, is Cardigan Aurora, and it's in Spanish. I don't speak Spanish. I've been trying to learn a little bit, but not enough to like comprehend a knitting pattern, because sometimes English knitting patterns are confusing enough. But I'll just show you here. This is just a top-down raglan. I lost my favorite like big long cozy cardigan, so, and that was black, and this one's just gonna be brown, so I can wear it with whatever. It's a really long, it's curling in on itself, but it's like a really long V-neck. And I've got about 5 more inches in length that I want to do. And then I think there's probably ribbing on the bottom, and then I'll start the sleeves. I'm so excited to do the sleeves because you don't have to purl. But yep, that's what I'm working on now. It's made out of Knit Picks Upcycle Alpaca Blend, which is wool, alpaca, and acrylic. And it's really nice. Alpaca is like my favorite fiber to knit with these days. It's like floppy, so it's not good for everything, but it's nice and cozy. But that's about everything I have for you today. We'll see when I'm back. Who knows? I will not make any promises. But it was lovely chatting with you guys. I hope everyone has had a wonderful year, and I hope you all have a great year in 2025. Time flies, guys. Time flies. But I will talk to you all later. Have a good one, and keep stitching.